20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to kbla.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at kbla.store today. That's kbla.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Rolling down Imperial Highway, the big nasty red at my side. Santa Ana winds blowing hot from the north. We were born to ride. Roll down the window, put down the top, crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gonna ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side bay to the valley, from the west side to the east side, everybody very happy, 'cause the sun is shining all the time. Looks like another perfect day. I love LA.
I'ma assume we love it. And me here in my Los Angeles shirt, I'm going to assume that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to whatever these finals are for the in-season tournament. That's what I'm going to assume is going down. Is that what it is, Andy? We are up. What? Another something that we can just throw up there like parsley just to decorate the arena for people to be upset and angry about. What you got?
Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas. Listen, Vegas is going to be quietly popping this weekend. Usher's done. No more Usher. But listen, on the low, you might want to see who's performing at Dre's. It's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be a good time. Also, in other random news, because you guys know I'm good for a random story. Back in the day, I used to intern at Elektra Records, and one of the departments I interned in was A&R. It was like my first job into the industry, right? And one of the people that I A&R'd for was a guy named Amos Newman. And his dad, Randy, he wrote that song, I Love L.A. So, that was pretty cool. I liked that internship. That was my first one. The first ones always. You got stars in your eyes. I got to meet like Bob Dylan and do a lot of other cool stuff and set me on my path. Anyway, shout out to the Lakers. So who won? It was the East. Did that already happen? I know it was between the New York and the Bucks, right?
So the Knicks and Bucks played earlier. The Bucks smashed on them.
Okay, so it'll be LA Bucks.
No. It'll be the Bucks versus the Pacers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Pacers.
The four teams, and you have the Lakers going against the Pelicans. So that'll be Thursday. So the winner of Lakers Pelicans
we'll be in Vegas. Okay.
Yeah, we'll play the winner of Milwaukee, Indiana, and I believe that game is on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
So were you interested in the end season? Did it make you tune in a little bit more? Or is it just basketball and you just like...
I mean, there was a level of curiosity there. I didn't understand it in the beginning, but, as the games kind of went on, I started to understand it a little bit. And I just think the whole financial incentive kind of helped out a little bit. I mean, if you saw the game yesterday, Pacers against the Celtics, and you just looked at the way the Indiana crowd was going crazy, you could just tell that it did mean a little something, at least for the Pacers.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing.
Because they haven't sniffed the finals in a while.
In a long time. And I think, the Pacers are kind of showing themselves right now. Like, we're a nice little team. And I think, for anybody to win this in-season tournament, it definitely gives them a morale boost moving forward.
Do you think that we'll see people at the end of the season? I think I asked Antoine this last week. Like, it doesn't matter. We won the end season. We could.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. But for those individuals, those athletes who just care about the paycheck, it's probably going to be a big deal for them.
Okay. Well, we'll see what's going on. I always want the Lakers to win, whatever it is.
But I also want to say this though.
Yeah.
If God willing, the Lakers do win this in-season tournament, this does not give a slight edge in GOAT status or greatness to LeBron James. I'm just, because it is an in-season tournament. This is not the actual chip. So I just know some people will probably utilize, did Jordan win an in-season tournament?
So
Stop
wait,
it.
the thing I can't remember, did they didn't add more games to the season with the in-season tournament. They just designated certain days as part of it, right?
Yes, the only extra game would be the final game.
Okay. So not that much more wear and tear on your body. I think I was watching,
Not at all.
I like my sports podcast. I think I was watching Gilbert Arenas, and he was breaking down how you're getting $500,000, but you're playing less games. Because if you go to the finals, right, in theory, that's 16 to get you a championship. This is much less games. So
That is, I don't understand how that's less games.
because there's no additional games, because it's 82 games in a season, right? These are just part of that, so it's only one more game. But with playoffs, that's an additional to get there, minimum 16.
Minimum 16, yes.
So one game versus 16 games. Money's roughly the same, I guess he was saying. So
I don't know.
you don't know.
I don't
You're
know.
not rolling.
It doesn't make sense.
Not rolling. I feel you. I do have a question about this though. I wonder if there's gonna be a lot of parties. What's gonna be going on? That's so random. Of course there will be. Of course I'll let you guys know about that. Speaking of, since we're talking about sports and we're starting it off with a Lakers win, the team up north, the Golden State Warriors, well, Aisha Curry was on Jennifer Hudson's show today, and she revealed that one of the ways she and Steph have been getting quality time in is because she's taken up golf. Now, we know that golf is great for business meetings, and we see the popularity of golf emerging in our communities. Everybody wants to go to Top Golf, have a little event there, a couple drinks, hit some balls across the green. But can you imagine? I think that it probably makes sense why it would be a good couple bonding experience. You get, it takes about 3-4 hours for a complete round of golf. You're rolling around on the course. You could sip a little something, music, and just spend quality time talking and relaxing. So the two have been married, of course, for over a decade. They have 3 kids. Riley's 11, Ryan is 8, and their son Cannon is 4. And so, Aisha's busy. Restaurateur, cookbooks, skincare line, magazine owner, but she says that she's become obsessed with golf. It's something that she can work on, and they can do it together. So shout out to love, shout out to couples finding ways to stay active and bring them closer together. When we come forward, we're going to get into Jamie Foxx and what he had to say in his acceptance speech, and what he heard you guys saying. You guys are mean. We'll talk about all of that on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We hope you have a safe and relaxing holiday season.
Mask up and stay safe.
At KBLA Talk 1580,
We've got a lot to talk about.
and your voice is critical to all the conversation. Happy holidays. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain, Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now there are medicines that can treat COVID, whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
For some children, a single surgery can turn an untreated cleft into a smile for life. But at Smile Train, we understand that most children need a little extra care. They need medical, dental, and emotional resources to grow healthy and strong, to express themselves clearly, and to navigate all of life's challenges so that their smiles light up the room as brightly as possible. Visit SmileTrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep, that is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, before we get into Jamie, do you know who Felicity Huffman is? Well, she, if you recall, is an actress. I believe she was on Desperate Housewives. She served a little time because she and a few others did some not so kosher things to get their children acceptance into a couple of the elite status schools. And, you know, it was illegal. They ended up going to jail for that. So in a recent interview, she was relaying the moment when officers, the federal agents, came to her home to arrest her. And in a moment that was a little bizarre, I guess, she decided to put us, the black community and the brown community, in relaying her story. And I just want to hear your thoughts on it. So let's listen to what she had to say.
When he slowly started to present the criminal scheme, it seemed like, and I know this seems crazy at the time, that was my only option to give my daughter a future. And I know hindsight is 20/20, but it felt like I would be a bad mother if I didn't do it. So I did it.
Months later, the FBI was at her door.
They came into my home. They woke my daughters up at gunpoint. Again, nothing new to the black and brown community.
So, okay. I don't understand where that came into her story. Part of me is like, okay, is she saying this because she is saying, I understand that there are communities that deal with this type of behavior all of the time, and so that is her way of showing she's not being disrespectful to the plight? I don't know. It felt strange to me. Like, why are you just kind of peppering that on top of this story? I don't know if it needed it. Andy?
Sounds as if she's trying to get sympathy from the black and brown community.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, I'm going through what you guys be going through too. Maybe you guys can give sympathy.
I mean, I think that is some of it, but it's like really, really think about what you're asking for sympathy from these communities for, right? Like, yes, we know you often hear the conversation about, listen, I had to sell drugs. I had to do what I had to do, whether it be that, perhaps, some conversations around sex work or things of that nature. However, and again, I understand wanting to give your child the best opportunity possible. And I understand you may have felt driven to do some things. However, I don't think that it was the best idea, although I'm not trying to say that having federal agents come into your home with guns drawn is not a traumatic experience, no matter if you are wealthy, middle of the road, or, currently not in the greatest of standing. Nobody wants to endure that. However, nobody wants to endure that, so we really didn't need the extras on it. I don't know. Maybe you just thought you were safeguarding the inevitable backlash that you were going to get with a statement like that. Fahima says, Jill, she could have used the same money to get tutoring and teach her kids a sport. They could have had legit scholarships. Absolutely. They absolutely could have. But, everybody is like, oh, shortcut? Let's go. Why leave it up to chance? I got this money. But it all blew up in their face. We obviously know that things like this have happened beforehand. It's not nepotism. This isn't nepotism. This is just straight bribery. But, it is interesting that she is taking the position that they were so downtrodden that she didn't have any other options. Again, sympathizing with her because everyone wants to do the best for their child. But girl, come on. We understand, but we don't. And keep us out of that mix. Just tell your story. Okay, so listen, Jamie Foxx. We all love Jamie Foxx, right? We were praying for Jamie earlier in the year as he was battling an unknown illness, right? We don't know what really brought him to that point, but he was there and he's recovered and we're, happy about it. So Monday night, he made his first official public appearance since his health crisis. I guess that was in April, right? He made a surprise appearance at the Critics' Choice annual celebration of cinema and television. It's awards time, so it's going to be a lot of these ceremonies happening. And this particular show honors Black, Latino, and Asian American achievements across television and film. So he was awarded the Vanguard Award for his performance in the film The Burial, which is currently on Prime Video. And he was a surprise, as I mentioned. And we're going to hear what he said when he accepted his award, because it really was touching. Jamie's a national treasure to me, right? He is, I feel, one of the most talented entertainers. I mean, Jamie can sing, he can act, he does comedy, he plays instruments. So again, I'm talking about taking all of these gifts in totality. How many people can measure up to Jamie Foxx? Okay? You can have your varied opinions, but keeping it 100, look at all the things he does. So, we're all happy to see him back and out and about. And these are his thoughts on his situation and where he currently is.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody. I've been through something. I've been through some things. It's crazy. I couldn't do that 6 months ago. I couldn't actually walk to... And clone. I'm not a clone. I know a lot of people were saying I was cloned out there. Boy, y'all ain't It's a clone. It ain't no that's a clone. You know what's interesting? First of all, I want to say to my black folks, man, thank you so much for holding me down all the time. It means a lot because I always say, like, to black folks, it's harder to impress black folks. It is, because you know, black people, every time you get an award, it's always somebody out there say, man, my cousin did the same thing. My cousin did the same thing. My cousin did right now, man. So it feels good to be here. I cherish every single minute now. It's different. You know, it's different. You know, it's beyond. I wouldn't wish what I went through on my worst enemy, because it's tough when it's almost over, when you see the tunnel. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel, so I don't know where I was going. I'm going to the right place. I just see the devil going, come on, man.
Listen, first of all, once again, shout out to Jamie Foxx. I think I've talked about this before, that no matter the situation, I generally can find some humor into it. I think that is, you know, a trait that a lot of black people share. We use humor to get us through things. And, you know, that was obviously emotional for Jamie, but he still had us laughing. And that's encouraging to see. It's good to see because, like I said, we use laughter to get us through a lot of difficult moments. And sometimes in this new era where we take everything very, very seriously, I think that we forget the benefit of sometimes laughing at our circumstance, which also can cause us to appreciate where we are and how far we've come. But Jamie, yeah, he heard y'all saying he was a clone out there. I think, too, what people notice is we don't know what he went through, what the health crisis was. But anyone who goes through a serious health crisis, especially one that didn't allow you to be able to walk, to function as you know, and assume your normal daily living activities, it's probably pretty severe. And so, generally speaking, even if you aren't close to a person, you might pick up on some things that are adjusting or slightly different as someone who's gone through an extreme amount of illness makes their way back to themselves. So I think that also had something to do with it, because sometimes, you know, it takes a second to get back to yourself when you're coming back from something like that. But I'm very happy Jamie is, you know, here to keep us laughing. And again, just thrilled about that. I am sad, though, that he and his daughter Corinne won't be on their show, the Fox show that they announced. I feel like that was part of why they were rushing to get back. But it's been, they have been replaced. They're still the executive producer, by Anthony Anderson and his mother, and that's going to be coming to Fox next month. But we are happy that Jamie has come so far, that he is healthy looking and still here to, you know, make us laugh. All right. More trending topics, more headlines, more things to discuss. Okay. So I mentioned Angelina Jolie, right? We just talked about her daughter crossing over to Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. I think that was about a month ago. She attends Spelman University in Atlanta. Well, Angelina has recently revealed that she wants to quit acting for good, and she has plans to leave unhealthy Los Angeles. She wants to spend more time in Cambodia And she said, after losing the ability to travel freely during her bitter divorce from Brad Pitt, she's ready to leave this place. She said that her disdain for Hollywood started several years ago. She said this in an interview to WSJ Magazine. She wants to move as soon as she can so that she can live in her home that is already established in Asia. But she says that she has to wait for her custody battle with her ex, Brad Pitt, to end. They've been going through this battle for several years now, quite expensive. I mean, they've been battling it out over a winery, over time with the kids, over, what is supposed to be, what is allowed to be shown as far as social media, the time spent together. We've heard little things in the past from the children. It's just long and drawn out. She said that she believes that Los Angeles is a shallow place and that she would like to, that if she had it to do over again and she was trying to become an actress in this current era, that she would never have done it, that there's no way that she would have entered the entertainment industry today. She said that she wants to be free, go find peace in Asia and Cambodia. The kids are getting older now. Angelina and Brad started dating in 2005. They, of course, hooked up or not while they were filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Brad was still with Jennifer Aniston. They officially married in 2014, but divorced 2 years later in 2016. And since then, it's been about 7 years that they have been embroiled in this divorce proceeding, as well as custody of their 6 children. So much so, though, that the kids are aging out of the custody argument because they're over 18 and headed off to college. So I don't know. I hope they can find a resolution quickly. 7 years is a long time to be going to war with an ex. Can you imagine? That doesn't sound healthy at all. Nothing I would want to be involved with. Well, listen, when we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. We got a little Kevin Durant update for you. We're going to talk about which former Detroit Pistons player says that they are responsible for Draymond Green's outlandish behavior. We're going to get into that, plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports on the other side.
Century Boulevard, we love it. Victory Boulevard, we love it. Santa Monica Boulevard, we love it. 6th Street, we love it. We love it. We love LA.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams' administration is seeking a break on the proposed congestion pricing toll for yellow taxis and school buses. Administration officials say the yellow taxi industry has been through big financial stress over recent years, and they should get a full exemption. Mayor Adams, who is black, says he'll continue to share his views with the MTA about making sure traffic is not being displaced to the outer boroughs. Adams officials say municipal workers should pay the congestion toll. Officers with the Anchorage Police Department are now wearing body cameras. KTUU-TV reports the department has equipped 54 officers and their vehicles with cameras, and a total of 350 body cameras are expected to be installed in the coming months. The move comes after the Alaska Black Caucus filed a lawsuit against the city earlier this spring over the delay in getting the cameras implemented. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do go. It's called the Accident Guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? The Accident Guys have helped over 5,000 injured clients with an impressive winning record.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID,
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertiri Plessy. Nefertiri felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Doja. You know, we appreciate Doja over here. That's Hound Dog. That was from the Elvis soundtrack. And I know you know, but if you didn't know, the original version of Hound Dog, like 1952, before Elvis got his hands on it, was by Big Mama Thornton, a black woman. She rocked out. So, fittingly, Doja rocked that out for the soundtrack last year. I don't think that song did all that, but, you know, again, I'm a Doja fan. I'm not a stan of anyone. I still can't believe Eminem started a whole movement and that people use artists as whole personality types. I grew up looking at Michael Jackson, but stand-em, something else to me. Okay, so listen. LeBron James, he had a very strong statement to make about questions regarding his business partner, Maverick Carter. So we know that Maverick is LeBron's manager. He has been for quite some time now. And in 2021, he revealed to federal agents that he had bet on NBA games through an illegal bookmaker, so a bookie. He told the agents that he could not remember placing any bets on the Lakers, denied placing bets for others, and he said he placed approximately 20 bets on football and basketball games for about a year, and the amounts ranged from $5,000 to $10,000. So the NBA prohibits players, team officials, and league officials from betting on games. That also includes agents. However, it does not include business managers. So in theory, Maverick, I guess the wrong in this would be that he was placing these bets with an illegal bookmaker, but not the act itself. So LeBron was asked about it, naturally, and he said that he didn't know about Mav's conversation with the federal agents until the last 24 hours. And this came out last week, I believe, on the 30th, so sometime in that time frame. And so LeBron said Maverick is his own man, and at the end of the day, gambling is legal. You can go on your phone right now and do whatever you want. And he has no affiliation with the NBA or NFL, so he can do what he wants. A spokesperson for Carter and LeBron, Maverick Carter, released a statement to the Washington Post basically saying in 2021 and before 38 states and the District of Columbia had legalized sports betting, Maverick was interviewed a single time by a federal law enforcement official regarding their investigation into a gentleman named Wayne Nix. Mav was not the target of the investigation. He cooperated and was never charged with anything and never contacted again. So that's it on that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I'm not thinking about it in the grand scheme of things, but gambling is legal. We see so many gambling companies, gambling apps sponsoring content now, sports content. And, those lines can get blurry. It'll be interesting to see ethically if anything comes up in relation to that as we move more into that category and we have more and more collaborations coming together under those circumstances. All right, and a little more sports news because, it's the second hour. Let's get to the sports news, right? So over the weekend, Anthony Edwards launched his new sneaker, and of course he signed with Adidas. And he was asked who he would like to wear, what current player he would like to see ball out in his shoe. So Anthony responded and said he wanted to see KD in it. Well, KD is a big old troll, and he spotted it. And he retweeted and said, "You won't ever see me put a big toe in them MFers," and just kind of went in, dusted them. KD is obviously a Nike athlete with his own signature shoe, so it's highly unlikely that he would ever wear anyone else's shoe anyway. But he's just going to throw a little extra salt on the wound because why not, right? Why not indeed? Okay, so listen. I mentioned that some Detroit Pistons players from around circa 2004, they are taking responsibility for Draymond Green's behavior. We know Draymond has been ejected, 19 games this season. He's the second most ejected player of all time. We know who the leader is, though, right? Just go on, take a guess. Take a guess. Who would you think? Both teams played hard. Both teams played hard. Your guy Rasheed Wallace is the leader with 29. And recently he appeared on Gil's Arena, and he said that he and his 2004 Pistons teammates are responsible for Draymond Green and his attitude and the way that he conducts himself. He said, "That's our fault. Draymond grew up in the 2004 Pistons locker room." If you recall the 2004 Pistons, that was when Rasheed was traded twice in the matter of maybe 2 weeks or a couple of days. It was kind of the first time that had happened in the NBA. He was traded from the Portland Trail Blazers, who were referred to as the Jail Blazers that time because they had a lot of incidents that were happening, and he was traded to Atlanta for a brief period of time, and then he was traded to the Detroit Pistons, and he was the final piece, and they went on that run and ultimately beat the Lakers to win a title. I believe Chauncey Billups was on that 10. Big Ben, what is Big Ben's last name? What is it? Big Ben Wallace, yeah. Who else was on there? A couple other people. That's right, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, right here from the Southland. But not shout out to them because they beat the Lakers. I remember I was at the only game that the Lakers won that final series. Well, the only game they won here in LA, I should say. They won 2 games, but they only won 1 game here. Oh, game 2, okay. Yeah, they had the gentleman's sweep with that, right? Yeah. So game 2, it was here in LA, and I was like, "Oh, we back. We're going to get in there. We're going to get it started." And we were definitely not back. That was definitely hurtful. And, that was when Karl Malone all of that season, really, the Lakers went as Karl Malone's health went. And unfortunately, he didn't have it when we got to those finals.
That's why I hate Karl Malone even more.
Because he just took up space, you feel like?
No, not because he took up space, but first off, I mean, just him being a Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Hated him because of that. And, you know, for his whole career before he even came to the Lakers, they used to always talk about how he was an Iron Man and how he only missed 4 games his whole career. And as soon as you come to the Lake Show,
broke down.
You want to miss, like, the whole season.
That, I mean, really, like, go back and look at it if you don't believe me. I don't know if they were doing plus minus at that point in time as far as players and things like that. I don't think they were. But I bet you Karl Malone's plus minus when he was playing and active that season very much dictated the wins and losses for the Lakers. And, you know, robbed us of GP getting a ring with the Lakers. Instead, he had to go down there to Miami and get it. Still got it with Shaq. Shout out to them. I definitely rocked out with that 2006 Miami Heat team. I just split my loyalties, basically. That's when I developed my East Coast team and my West Coast team. And the Miami Heat were definitely my East Coast team for that time period. Andy?
You know, that 2004 loss, it was bittersweet. Obviously, I wanted the Lake Show to win, but I can't deny the fact that I was a huge Chauncey Billups fan.
Yeah.
I was happy for Rip Hamilton. I even had, you know, shout out to Rasheed Wallace. You know, he was, you know.
I was happy for Rasheed.
Yeah, I was happy for him, you know, considering the fact that he was with the Blazers and how we mollywopped them several times. So they had a whole bunch of players that were likable. And I respected their chip. And just, you know, the Lakers, they lost.
They lost, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that was fair and square. We did not show up. I can't even remember who was on the bench for that Lakers team. I mean, I know. So we had GP, we had Cole.
We had D Fish. I want to say
D.
Devin
Fish
George was still on the squad. Was Robert Ory still on the squad? Was Rick Fox still on the squad?
I don't think Rick Fox was there for some reason. He might have been. I don't think he was. Was that just championship hangover? Everybody has them.
I think so.
That was an up and down season, if I remember correctly. And, you know, it is hard. We know it's hard to get to an NBA Finals. It's hard to win one. But to go 3 times in a row, we've seen how difficult that can be and the toll that it can take. Look at the, you know, the 2010s version of that with the Warriors and the Cavs going back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you pretty much say that they played a whole another season of just playoff games and finals.
Right.
So I got the roster right here for you.
Okay.
It was Kobe.
Of course.
Mo Carter.
I don't even remember who Mo Carter is.
I want to say he was the ball head dude. Brian Cook.
Okay.
He could shoot the ball. D. Fish, Rick Fox,
Brian
Devin
Cook, light
George,
skinned, tall, big dude, right in the corner. I remember.
Horace Grant, Karl Malone, of course. Slava Medvedenko.
I remember Slava.
Shaq, of course. Gennaro Pargo, GP. Kareem Rush.
Oh, Kareem Rush, pretty boy. I remember Kareem Rush. That's what they used to call them.
I thought it was going to be big things for him, but, you know, not too much. Brian Russell was actually on the squad.
Okay, shout out to Brian Russell.
He probably was riding the bench.
No, I mean, they were a unit. I remember that because here's why I remember that, too. And shout out to Byron's daughter, Cajun. Like, fam, this is my baby. So listen, I remember that because that is when, you know, Shawnee O'Neal, well, I'm sorry, that's not her last name anymore, but Shawnee, Shaq's ex-wife, always ahead of the curve. That was the season where they had Shawnee. It was Shawnee, Monique Payton, and Kimberly Russell, and Jeannie Buss, I think. And they had a women's version, women's stream version of the finals game, and it didn't quite work, but I like the idea of it. I like what they were trying to do, where they showed, you know, the women in conversation watching the game and the wives and da-da-da-da-da-da.
That was the precursor to Basketball Wives, basically.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in a way, I mean, if you think about it, well, Shawnee, Monique, and Kim were really, really tight, still good friends to this day. And when Shawnee went out to Miami, obviously Monique was there as well. Kim was not. And originally, the cast for Basketball Wives, the first one, was mostly Miami Heat wives. But the Heat and the NBA was like, not our IP. You can't use our name, no official association. So I think I mentioned the Don. I think I mentioned this before, but if you look at the first season of Basketball Wives, but I have to think it was more than just Pat Riley. I believe it's the NBA, because none of the women that were on there, they say the city, they never say the team names.
That's fair. I can respect that.
At all. And that is because you cannot use the NBA's
in your drama
proper name in their thing. But they were concerned about the show, and they told all, and that is also why at that time you didn't see a lot of people always wondered why there weren't any active players' wives on there. A lot of the teams, they didn't forbid it, but they forbid it, like on the low. Matt Barnes got a lot of heat for making that move and appearing on there.
He was still playing at the time?
He was playing in Orlando when they first got on the show. Like all of that drama that happened, he was still an active player when all of that was happening. The accusations, the calling off of the wedding, and all of these things, he was still playing.
Definitely got to the bag. But the last three players was Jamal Sampson. I don't know if he probably didn't get much playing time. Luke Walton, of course.
Okay.
And the current coach of the Houston Rockets, Ime Udoka.
He played for the Lakers?
Apparently, because I do not remember him. I'm sure he didn't get no playing time.
Wow, I did not even remember him being on the Lakers. That's crazy. I wonder if that's when he and Nia met, or if they met when he was with the Spurs, because that would make sense how they could come across each other, and then, he later went to the Spurs. Interesting. I usually know things. I had no clue whatsoever. It's interesting with Luke Walton. He was making some buzz as far as coaching. He was up there with the Kings, and then he was accused of inappropriate conduct with a woman. I believe that they knew each other through work, and he settled that lawsuit, and we haven't heard anything from him since. So, Diddy, there are people out there that you could take a strong bit of advice from. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here's to a holiday season full of peace, joy, and happiness. Happy Kwanzaa from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems. To stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA Can also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007 they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA Can believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So Rasheed Wallace says that he and his Pistons teammates from that 2004 team are responsible for Draymond Green going ham on the league. He said, "That's our fault. Draymond grew up with the 2004 Pistons in the locker room. One of his best friends was the son of the GM." I didn't know that. Did you know that, Andy? I didn't know that Draymond's BFF was the son of the Pistons. That's an interesting fact. Anyway, random, but interesting to me. So he was just around. They said he was there at practice, in the locker room after games, before games. He heard the language, and they said that we all know it's a different language when the cameras aren't there. That's why he's always doing bully stuff to players. That's Rasheed's humble opinion. He caught all of that from their locker room, you know? And we know Draymond is responsible for Draymond, but I'm sure seeing that type of environment and that it was pros and how they, went hard in the paint probably impacted him in some type of form or fashion. We know Draymond's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt. We know that typically the Warriors have gone as he has gone. If he's not leading with his toughness, sometimes it's an interesting situation. And, it's not always the guy that's on the court that is impacting the locker room. Everybody has a different role on the team. So, shout out to Draymond. Shout out to Rasheed and the 2004 Pistons for taking responsibility and accountability for the monster that they created. I'm just kidding. Draymond's exciting from the league. We like his intensity. When we come forward, more trending topics, more headlines. We still have a great deal to discuss. There's some stalker information going on with a former football player. We're, of course, going to get into Latavia and her Destiny's Child stories, a little bit about that. And we even have some updates on two couples that have switched off partners and are now living their best lives. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Fraud, player, I get it.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network.